Yes, graduates, welcome to Hard Talk Podcast with HTK. Fasten your seatbelts. Hey, users and subscribers, wagwan. Listen, I am not a Guyanese. And even though I am not a Guyanese and I am a Jamaican, I feel frustrated about the Adriana Young case. I feel frustrated in that I can only imagine how the people of Guyana feel. I can only imagine how the family feel, and I'm not in their shoes at all. This case seems to just be going around in a circle, and I can just, when you just have that deep sixth sense that it's just not going to end up how we would like to see it end up. We're not going to get the justice deserved. And I have to pray away those feelings of self-defeat, because we are dealing with a situation where the government clearly is trying to silence the truth by spinning narratives. We've, in our previous video, shown how the media that is controlled by the government of Guyana is deliberately straying away from the pressing need for criminal investigation. It is not surprising to me that the parents, the family of this little girl feel as though they are in torment because the truth has yet to come out, has yet to be revealed. And in their heart of hearts, they are thinking that Adriana's spirit just cannot rest in peace because of the barriers that are in the way of this case getting sorted out. People in positions of power have got the capability of silencing this case. And it cannot be a nice feeling. It cannot be, it must bring him unimaginable pain to even believe for a minute that you can lose your beautiful child in such a manner, and to date, no result. As you are aware, a recent interview took place with the parents and another fellow YouTuber. We're going to take some time to listen carefully to the things that both parents had to say about the situation, and we're going to analyze it. First of all, I would like you to listen to the father of Adriana Young, Sir Brian. I want you to listen to what he had to say about the whole situation, how it started and how it is now going.
When
Much better, yes, man.
with them, when the police them came, I know all the police them. In the
Right.
night, when Allen come there with the people, the rest of police, and come and protect the building, stop it from the building, and say nobody can go in there, that kind of thing. I want to listen.
Yeah,
The
man.
police is the one come and tell we, okay, the people want Yako want Sergeant building. There was like 12 something, right? But 12 minutes of 12 going on to 12 when I want Sergeant's place. You know what I'm telling you? How you gonna come ask me or tell me, hey Brian, you and your wife must go and start this building for your daughter? And I
First red flag. How can you be sending civilians into a crime scene to start the initial investigation when the crime scene is fresh? When at that point, that's when you're going to find the most untouched detail, uncorrupt evidence. You are basically sending in the parents of the missing child or the family of the missing child to go in and corrupt the crime scene themselves. That doesn't make any sense to me.
watching this building is a 3-story or 4-story building.
I telling you.
2 building, right? And all of the size of the building. I was like, yo, y'all go in and bring me data, give me data, bye. Y'all don't tell me you're going to start no building, bye. Me going to the building, bye. Just so you stand up and like say, everybody who went there can tell you though. I say, yeah, me go to no building, bye. Y'all bring me data, so give me that. I say, y'all know y'all got me that in there, and y'all know wish there. So y'all don't tell me for going to look for shit.
I tell you
I say,
straight.
I'll go bring me that. Like, the police tell me for one search. I never go in the building. Me girl, a couple of person went in and search, and then they get nothing. They didn't see nothing. I want to listen what's in again. Like, the officer was in charge, Mr. Harris. Mr. Harris was standing there. Right? Mr. Harris get called. When Mr. Harris get called, he come there. About 12 o'clock, Mr. Harris come there after 12. When Mr. Harris come there, and assist with Mr. Harris lock down the building so no one in, no one out. This is the first man I see come and do. This is the first man I see come and do police work. How I know police work supposed to happen? You hear what I'm saying? The man come and lock down the building, nobody moves, nobody. This was supposed to happen since one something. Building supposed to lock down.
And indeed, Sir Brian is right. Now, in case you may have forgotten, there was a whole increase in legal capability, strengthening justice systems in Guyana. From 2016 to 21, JES had successfully led and implemented the Strengthening the Criminal Justice System project in Guyana, which is about improving crime and crime scene investigations, case preparation, and trial advocacy. However, interestingly, the focus of this was mostly about developing the capacity of the Guyanese criminal justice system to work with forensic video analysis. As a part of the training that was delivered, 4 standard operating procedures were developed and implemented for crime scene investigations and improved evidence handling and examination practices. It was about making sure that stronger cases were being made by the police to result in convictions. They did training along the lines of better understanding and acceptance of CCTV footage and video recorded interviews as evidence in the courts. They trained over 1,500 participants, which included police, investigators, prosecutors, judges, and media, around how to handle and disseminate the evidence from a crime scene. One of the major focuses was improved care and handling of such evidence and proper note-taking. So far, Sir Brian has mentioned some things that shows that there was no proper handling of evidence or securing of the crime scene at all.
Smith, the whole night when I went there, Smith come ask me about me that. I tell everybody this. Smith come ask me about me that. Smith was like, "Bye, your daughter got a phone." I said, "Bye, my daughter don't use phone, bye. She's used phone to do some school work, she group work, because sometimes she didn't group. You understand? You, this is the only time she's used phone. I said the phone she's used is she's small sister one. It's not she one either. It's my small daughter phone." He said, "You want to see the phone?" This is the first time. But the night, I asked y'all for this phone. I said, "Miso, bring this phone and give me like Smith because me not hide. Me know me that. You can run the phone, you can see school work and everything. I think nothing else more or less. Nothing else in the
Straight.
God.
Wow.
Am I listening? This is the first time Smith asked for this phone, right? God. When Smith asked for his phone, Smith telling me what you know young girls nowadays, the boyfriend this and boyfriend that. Yeah. You know, when a little girl nowadays is one, you know. So I said, "Bye, me know me that, but don't tell me that, not too much boyfriend and boyfriend, by me that I get move from here, but you tell me what boyfriend and boyfriend, me that I think I no way." Yeah, because
Oh boy. And just when we were starting to say, okay, there was at least some hope and that at least some police work started to get done, this man starts to interrogate the father about the little girl possibly being promiscuous. Then whether or not, is that not still some kind of alarm that something could have gone wrong with the child? I do not understand why you would bring such an argument to the father. It is just sounding like Smith just came as a decoy to distract, to give some different story, to send their minds reeling and going in different directions, rather than looking deeply at the scenario that they were currently in.
Because the police don't tell me that I have to catch some vehicle and down with some man. Camera showed up.
Yeah.
The police are not telling me though. Because this was the first CID will come telling me. Right? God. Me never get in this car from who in charge, but I know instruction don't come from downstairs.
I know that. Yeah.
This is the first thing I know, right? I said no, instruction don't come from downstairs. Instructions come from one way up, way up, all the time up. Good. So when he then started telling me, Smith was like, "Bye, you know, the night, you know, the night when I don't give me the phone and them things, cause like you don't search and you find nothing and anything, right? Good. Do you know? Then come and then the police protecting this building all the time. The people outside want to rush the building. The people that can't rush the building because the police are going to shoot. The police are protecting this building.
I tell you.
Right?
Red flag number 2. What has happened to this whole story about Adriana going off in a vehicle? Remember, they had arrested another young man, or at least they were searching for another young man. I believe his name was Orlando. And claiming that she had gone off, she was seen in that vehicle, leaving the scene. Now, if the cameras weren't working, how did they know this? Who was the witness who claimed that's what they saw? Was the witness one of the staff members? Was the witness the owner or the owner's son? Who made that allegation against an innocent person, claiming that this young lady had gone off with a grown man? Was the intention to paint a picture of some kind of wayward child, therefore reducing the sympathy and empathy of the public towards the situation? It just doesn't sit well with me that this story was spun out of thin air, with no CCTV footage on site to see her leaving. So whatever footage that they actually examined to come up with this conclusion, if any, who provided such? Where has this story just dissipated to?
Good. So when that was like 12 o'clock when Miss Harris locked down this building and thing, I'm telling you,
Wow.
Miss Harris locked down this building and thing, they say everybody stand up. Well, we sitting in front there because the building closed down. Miss Harris got in the car. Miss Harris never leave. Miss Harris stay right in the car, right there till he said when the place get bright, all in the morning, about 6, we're gonna do a second search. Right? Then Mr. Harris always like, good. Remember, we don't start just pulling everybody don't swim and them thing in the night by 12 o'clock. Remember, tell you pool active over day till.
And even to then, when Mr. Harris came, the first thing he told me, he said, "You don't move from." He said, "Yeah, don't move from here." He said, "That information that they give you, it's misleading information."
Who's Mr.
Because
Harris? He's the officer.
But I know it was misleading. He said it's wrong, right?
Yeah.
It's wrong. He said, "Yeah, don't move." But nevertheless, Mr. Mandel had called on Miss Rimple's phone tonight to speak to me to tell me, "Oh, you could go home, mommy. You could go home and relax. We're working on the camera footage." So I said, "What camera footage?" I said, "You don't have nothing to show me. My daughter's right inside of that building, right?" Then he gonna ask me, "You know Orlando?" So I said, "Orlando who?" He can't tell me. I said, "But I don't know any Orlando." And I said, "You don't have nothing to show me and nothing to tell me about Orlando." I said, "You gotta get son and ask son what he did with my daughter." He still come the next morning for trying to get me off the road, for showing me phone that he have nothing on his phone to show me, but he have pictures and he have photos. I want him to release those pictures and photos that he have to show me that my daughter wasn't in that building. That's what I want him to do.
Yes, because Mandel, he was the person. He and the other police officers, they really tried to stain my niece,
even to Allen,
slander her name, and to let the public believe that she was this wild girl, this promiscuous child, and that was not so. And they repeatedly did that. It's not just one instance. Mandel repeatedly disseminated information, that sort of information to try to stain my innocent niece.
Wow. What an insult to the memory of the deceased child to put that kind of allegation against her name with no evidence and no proof. What was the aim of putting out this kind of narrative that the child was promiscuous, a wayward child. The only thing I can think of is that it was about minimizing the impact of her going missing to the public, to try to taint her reputation in an attempt at distracting the audience. Once again, it's about minimizing the damage and, in effect, giving a leverage to the owners of the hotel to make it look like they are innocent people, and in fact it was her own misbehavior that led to her demise. A very disgraceful approach.
When they got the chance to move, for me, when they got the chance to move Adriana body from that new building and bring her downstairs to when Alan mislead us to go on the road to say she's in a minibus coming, that somebody just see she stand up straight with bush head with a bag, and he got the picture in his phone.
Wow.
When he gonna bring the picture to me, it's too short, people. By that time, somebody hollering, look, they're bringing down something. When me and my brother to turn back to enter that building, some brother-in-law done lock the door and pull out the gun on me and my brother. We can't go in. Alan taking the precious time. By the time we get the chance now and he decide to open the door, the boy done push the trolley where he pushed it with Adriana body and then taking me to show me a little trolley with some alcohol bottle and a sheet. So I said, this is not the trolley that you had. I said, where is the other trolley?
Wow.
What are you talking about? Right? They feel people are stupid.
Wow.
That's what they feel.
Red flag number 3. So what are you trying to tell me here? Is it that the investigatory process is ignoring the first-hand account of key witnesses, such as the family members? This situation with a trolley coming down with something on it, covered in a sheet that resembled a body. Nobody is going to investigate the fact that it was being passed off as a trolley with alcohol. So you're telling me that people are seeing things and it's not so? They can't recognize the difference between the shape of a figure under a sheet as opposed to alcohol on a trolley? And then at this point, it was more significant an attempt to guard the crime scene. They could not enter having seen that. So was it that the police were guarding the crime scene for the purpose of forensics, or were they guarding the crime scene for the purpose of giving opportunities to those on site to cover their crime? And why would alcohol be on a trolley covered by a white sheet? Why would that be the case? Why would it be necessary to cover the alcohol with a white sheet? Something is definitely not right here. And didn't we see a white sheet floating around in the pool? Let me just remind you a minute.
I looking at the time my daughter disappear, right?
Mm-hmm.
When my daughter disappear, the hotel staff, the people who walk in there in the day, every single body know about it, right? Remember now, right? When this night reach, the people who walk in there in the day, shift change, right? So the night, people don't come in to walk. You know what I'm saying?
I hearing you.
The people don't come now for working night shift now. No going on too, because every daughter missing when the day up, and them they don't went there. You understand telling you? And now the people who went there go away, and she appear back any day now with these sort of people who went there. So what really going on?
This is what the hell you saying to me. Red flag number 4. Look, people, I'm starting to lose count of all of the red flags that I'm hearing. Just in this father's speech alone, you're trying to tell me that they actually allowed the staff that were on duty to exit the premises in a heated investigation, a fresh crime scene, an investigation that's just taking place. You trying to tell me that you allowed those members of staff to exit and for new people to turn up at the premises? Even more corruption of the crime scene? How does that make any sense at all? Shouldn't everybody who worked during the time of the child's disappearance, shouldn't they have been held for questioning? Shouldn't there have been intense interrogation of every member of staff? They just get to go like that? No, man. This is very slack on the part of the police. They did not follow due diligence at all, because there is no way that those members of staff should have exited the premises and been allowed to leave without interviews taking place with each and every one of them.
And then the next thing to when the body placed there, there wasn't civilians in that building. It's CID's police officers with the
When my daughter.
and the brother-in-law, because by then the night before around 12, they took son to Lenore Station claiming that they're gonna lock him up. But we know that they're not lock up, they just carried it. Because I tell them straight, I said he is the boss, man. Son is probably the commissioner of Guyana Police Force and not Hickins. Because he is the paper.
Leroy Smith.
Police officers. Leroy Smith know everything that was going on.
Mr. Smith, right? Mr. Smith, I lately had to find out Mr. Smith is driving son vehicle. Right? I didn't know how, but I know Mr. Smith. I know Smith used to drive in a black vehicle. I know the vehicles. They used to look like son vehicle. Yeah? But I never asked people about it. But now when people really tell me about it, I really watch it, I believe, and I know, if it should, the vehicle Smith was to drive his son vehicle. Yeah, so because you understand, telling you, Smith stand up upstairs. Smith stand up upstairs till the fire starts, the building starts smoke.
How old this guy? How old them people there? Here we have the individual again. And it's like this man ain't got a key in the world that this place on fire. Everybody else look like the last. Like them, you know, nothing going on at the back here. This man look like, like you look real funny there. Look like, you know, you just put it ablaze and you know, come here, boss. Mission complete. How old this guy? I just saying, word out in the street is, like you set at your own place of fire, boy. Allegedly. Yeah.
Body cam went, the police got body cam. Body cam never went on. No one green get catch red-handed, put on back body cam. You telling you? Why look, where's it? Use police to come and do police work, you come and find justice. Why you body cam and think that? Why you hiding? Where is it you're covering?
All them something here, people. So, all that investment that the Guyanese government has made in making sure that crime scenes are properly investigated, there is no legislation around the use of body cams and whether or not the police officers should have them on or off as they arrive on the scene. The fact that one was seen physically turning on his body cam, putting it on at the scene, having already arrived, shows that once again, due diligence failed. How can you be reluctant to have your body cam on at a crime scene if you are not covering up for the proprietors of the building? If you're not covering up for someone, if you're not covering up for other police officers who may also be involved in corrupting the scene. Allegedly, it is believed that officers were seen carrying certain things throughout the premises. There was no civilians there. And the things that they were carrying either resembled a body or resembled material used on the body. We, the public, would like to know why it is that the criminal investigation continues to be stalled. But more importantly, this family, they have a spirit of unrest. because many questions have been left unanswered. And once again, we are at the point where we're hearing nothing about the demands for the FBI, despite the Prime Minister claiming that he will go above and beyond to ensure everything is done. Why is it that this family and their requests for external investigators are being ignored? There is so much more in this interview, people, that it would probably take too long for me to keep chopping and stopping and discussing. But I'm going to say something else. In that interview, the aunt spoke clearly about the cotton wool. And the mother also referred to it. And they spoke about the cotton wool falling out of the child's nose or being taken out of the child's nose at the hospital. And that it was visibly seen by them. And the fact that it was after her body was moved. After she was moved from one hospital to the next. That it's in that process before the first autopsy. There was no cotton in the nose. So the first hospital, they believe, removed the cotton. That there is a very distinct difference between cotton and froth or foam, however you want to describe it. And they saw clearly that there was cotton. There's also a picture floating around. I believe it's with this Mr. Smith person. I'm not sure if that is the name of the officer. With cotton wool on the ground, perceived with blood on it. So, with everybody being allowed to meander through the crime scene before the building was shut down, it is little wonder that so many details are being missed. And it is clear that this was obviously a deliberate facilitation after they had done what they needed to do. And then allowed the audience to come in, the crowd to come in, to discover the body that just suddenly appeared in the pool. We're lifting up the family of Adriana Young, and we pray that they do not lose faith and they do not lose patience with the system, and that they persevere, and that the support of the Guyanese people and even people around the world remains unwavered. I can see a silencing coming, and I hope that this silencing that I see coming is challenged, and that we continue to push for justice for this little girl. This is your girl,